Hey, welcome back to the Unbiased Room. Here to bring y'all another episode. And today we talking coaching jobs, man. Some of the hottest openings in the country right now. And we're gonna start off with LSU. And if everybody here is on the same page and agree that LSU is probably the biggest coaching job available right now.
It is one of the premier jobs in the SEC and in the nation. The recruiting background, the backyard, right? You got Louisiana, when it's like a football hotbed. You got Texas right there. You got some of Florida. Yeah, and you're the premier school in the state.
Like I said, you got Texas right around the corner. You got Arkansas right above you. It's a lot, man. It's a good place, man, to be. Right now, it's the biggest job out there in college football that's open right now. I think any coach that gets it has to take advantage of that recruiting aspect. And then also they have one of the best home field advantages in college football as well, too, with Death Valley. But, the biggest thing right now is all the instability, man. You got the governor jumping in, providing his input. You got a president that just took over not too long ago, so he's still kind of trying to find his footing. They don't have an AD. They have an AD name, but then they don't have an AD name. So it's just a lot of instability right now with that LSU job. And who's really wants to take it, right? Because whoever takes it, they may be dealing with a lot of still stuff that's uncertain right now.
Yeah, I agree, man. That is a tough situation to walk into. Um, one of the other guys that's on the pod with us is Vic, and he is like hell bent on Lane Kiffin taking this job, and I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I would be really shocked if Lane leaves his situation to go to LSU or Florida. And the reason I say that is because right now he has Ole Miss built up the way that he wants it. And I think he can pretty much write his check with Ole Miss. Why go somewhere else and start all the way back over, right? And I just don't know if Lane is willing to do that.
I'm saying, man, whoever they bring in too, man, they have to be young enough to have the energy to go out there and recruit hard. And they have to pull these recruits out of Florida. They have to pull these recruits out of Georgia and Texas, right? Because right now, Texas is, in all aspects, Texas is back, right? Texas is playing good quality football. So a lot of recruits are going to be staying, they're going to be capturing their recruits out of Texas, Georgia. So somebody who's out there that has the credibility of a SEC coach, and has the age or, has the energy still to go get them. And there's not a lot of candidates that fall into those, parameters there. I was reading something. They had Glenn Schumann, Georgia defensive coordinator, as one of the names out there. Yeah.
I could see that, but I don't know if LSU is willing to take a chance on a coordinator, right? I think
Mhm.
they want somebody with head coaching experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say that. Some of these big jobs that we'll get into more, right? Florida's next up to talk about. I just don't think programs that major are willing to take a chance on a coordinator, man. It's just that's a big gamble. So you saying you're gonna take a coordinator from whatever school, right? School X, and pay this guy comparable to what all these other, because LSU is the top 10 job, right? So you're gonna take a coordinator and throw 11 million a year in his pocket with no experience being a head coach? I don't see it.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what Ed was saying, I think a young coach that they could think about is someone like Eli Drinkwitz, right? He's only 42 years old. He did a great job when he was the head coach, at Missouri. And then before that, he was the head coach in Appalachian State. I'm sorry. He was the
No,
head coach at
yeah, he
Appalachian State
was.
and he was the head coach at Missouri. And I think he's young enough where he can get some skin in the game, more skin in the game and be appealing to recruits. But I just don't know if LSU would take him as
Yeah. Jimbo Fisher's out there, right? But I'm like, no, I don't know if he would be, I'm like, I don't know about that one.
nah. Yeah,
And
nah.
Jimbo's not young either, man. Jimbo's what?
Mm-mm. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him
60
late
something?
60s. Yeah, I'm gonna give him late
Yeah,
60s.
that's what I'm thinking, 67, 68, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And for me, with Jimbo, Jimbo had all the resources he could ever want at Texas A&M, and they did not do well, right? I mean, he was fired from there. Basically bought out the remainder of his contract. I just don't think Jimbo will be a good fit, man.
he's 60 years old.
Okay. He wants back in. He wants back in, but I don't think he should be starting back out at like a LSU or Florida.
No. No, I don't think so either. Speaking of Florida, Florida's also a job available. Who do y'all think who should they go after?
Hey, man, I have a name that I think will just fit, right? And it's an upgrade. Alex Golish out of USF. You know what I'm saying? Because he's winning at USF, which is when it comes down to tiers of, colleges in Florida, man, they get the leftovers from Miami, Florida State, from Florida, and he's got them kids playing some good ball, right? Solid defense. It's a transition right, so he knows how to recruit. He will be at one of the premier universities in Florida. Great facilities, great fan base. I think that's a good person for them to go after. Huh?
So I'm kind of like in the same boat with him as I am with John Summerall, right? And again, with LSU in Florida, I just don't think a group of 5 coach is the right answer, right? Billy Napier came from group of 5. He struggled at Florida, right? I mean, Alex Golish, yeah, he probably could do well, but are you willing to bet your, $11 million or $10 million that he's going to be the guy to get the job done there?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I'd rather prefer to go against someone proven has done it on the P4.
I agree. And, that job is a lot tougher at Florida than it is at LSU. And obviously, the LSU fan base is absolutely insane, right? They're crazy.
Yeah.
But Florida is tough because you have to compete with Florida State and Miami, right? So you're not the lone school in the state. You have competition.
Yeah, but and I say this, and I hate to admit it. I mean, when it comes to like the program, they have a good facility. They have good training grounds. They have their own stadium, right? That's one thing that recruiters used to kill Miami with is that y'all don't even have your own stadium. You know, it just takes that person that's out there in the recruits, like getting them. But also in Florida, man, you're a short distance, man, from the other, Bama, Georgia, all these other places.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really curious to see who they go after. I would think again, Eli Drinkwitz. A name I would throw out there is James Franklin. I mean, yes, he didn't do well at Penn State. Or what? Let me say that again. He did well at Penn State, but not well enough, right? He wasn't winning the big games, but he was consistently winning 10 games a year, right? Taking them to big bowls. He did well when he was at Vandy, so he would kind of know the SEC landscape song. Is he the guy that is going to get you some championships like a Urban Meyer? Probably not, right? But I think he would be stable enough that he could get you at least 10 wins a season.
But that
Yeah.
would be rare, man, to see a guy go from a big job, get fired, and go to another big job. I don't know. What are you about to say, V?
Yeah, James Franklin, man, great coach, obviously, man. But if I'm the Florida AD president, everybody that's involved in this process of finding the next coach, I'm not going after James Franklin, man, because he's shown me that he can't get over the hump. He was at Penn State for what, 10 years?
12,
11
I
years?
think.
12 years. And he was 3-19 versus Ohio State and Michigan, man. It's like, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Florida hired him and then every year he lost to Miami and Florida State?
Georgia.
Yeah. Or Georgia.
Or
Yeah.
Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Just year after year after year after year. They will be in the same situation that Georgia was when they had Mark Richt.
Yeah.
The same thing, man. 10 games a year. Yeah. If that's what they're okay with,
Yeah, but
I just
it
don't see it happening.
just always goes back to, but who else is out there though? I mean,
Yeah, I know,
I
I know.
know. All right.
Well, next game. Oh, well, not next game. We're not picking anything right now. Next team, Penn State. So the thing about Penn State is, I know me and Ron talked about this before, about them might go on to get a coordinator, right? And Brian Hartline's from Ohio State. It's a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the next step for him. Started out at Ohio State. He was, wide receivers coach. Now he's the OC. And that's the next step, right? Is to be a head coach. Of course, the lineage that he's had at Ohio State with receivers, man, is bonkers,
It
right?
is.
So but I always wonder, right, when you get somebody like that, what else can he do? Can he actually run a program? And that's gonna be the part that I think kinda hangs it up, right? Can he really do the job?
Yeah.
The coaches that were out there, like the Matt Rules and all them, they signed extensions already. So again,
Hmm.
who you gonna go get?
Yeah. And I seen an article, man, that they were talking about Matt Patricia, and this is his first year. This is his first year in college football, right? Being a D
Right.
coordinator at Ohio State. He has head coaching experience, right? Because he coached
Mhm,
the head coach in the NFL.
mhm.
With him, college is a whole different beast,
It
right?
is.
He ain't been on a recruiting trail yet. You know what I'm saying? That's a
Yep.
that's a different beast. But he does have head coaching experience. So,
Yeah, and it's crazy that you said it. I heard them mention him for the Florida and LSU jobs too, as because like you said, he could do that. And the one thing that's unique about coordinators now, they don't have to recruit, right? Like
mhm.
they did in the past. Like Ryan Grubb at Bama, he doesn't recruit, right?
Yeah,
So, he could get there, but he just have to hire some good staff around him.
yeah.
He didn't do well in the NFL, right?
No, not as a head coach.
Not as a
Nah.
head coach, no. But he
No.
did coach both sides of the ball, he at
Yeah.
New England. So,
Yes, he was there for a while. Got him some rings.
yeah.
I think for the Penn State job, man, it's an interesting job. It's a blue
Mhm.
blood school, right? That hasn't been relevant. And I wouldn't say relevant, but hasn't been in a national title conversation for a long time. They're in the 10-win conversation. It's somebody, and the fact that they were really patient with Franklin. So they're gonna hire for long term. So they're gonna look at somebody with, and I think Patricia would be an exciting fit, but will it be the right fit? You know,
Yeah.
and I was reading that they have what's the name? The Missouri Drinkwitz. Drinkwitz
Yep.
is
Yeah.
one of the
Eli
highest.
Drinkwitz.
Yeah, Eli Drinkwitz. They're heavy on him coming to Penn State.
And I could see that because Missouri, you kind of pigeonhole, right? It's just a lot of great teams in the SEC, man.
Yeah,
And I could see him leaving to go to a Penn State where he could be one of the top 5 teams in the Big Ten every year.
yeah, yeah. That is true. Yeah, that's true, man. That's true. Another job opening, Arkansas. Well, Arkansas and Auburn, so we can talk about both of those.
Yeah. For me, I think Bobby Petrino is gonna end up getting that job, man. I think he's gonna end up getting the Arkansas job. Since Sam Pittman has left, they've been competitive pretty much in every game.
Yeah,
They gave him the ability to let some of the staff go. He did that like soon as he took over the interim. And I think he's coaching. I think he wants to get back into being a head coach in the
yeah.
SEC. And I think he's gonna keep that job. One name I saw was Mike Gundy. I think that would be an interesting hire if that was somebody they wanted to go after, but I think it's Bobby's to lose.
He fits the Arkansas culture, man.
He does.
Hey
And he's a
man,
good coach too, man. Mike Gundy, he's a good coach.
Yes.
yeah, Arkansas, man. That's a like you got to fight at Arkansas to get these recruits to come there, man. I mean, it's always one of those. It's a tough place to play. They always.
Yeah,
So with that one, I don't know, man. I see another thing that another coach that is out there, names floating out there, and not for this job, just in general. Brom from Louisville.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, right. So I think Braun from Louisville could make an impact at Auburn. You know what I'm saying? Auburn is not they have a history. They had a national title run. They had a couple good years there. You know what I'm saying? So I think somebody Auburn could definitely benefit for somebody like him.
Yeah. Nah, I agree with you on that. One thing about Brum is he's at his alma mater, right? Which is kind
Hmm.
of like what I kind of say for like some of the other ones that I've seen, like Kenny Dillingham and some of the other ones that they mentioned. I mean, is he really have an appetite for leaving his alma mater to go to a bigger job? That's going to be something that we'll see. I do think he would be a good fit at Auburn. One person I thought was John Sumrall. I think he's the perfect candidate for Auburn, and I know that's who they really are excited about. G5 coach, but he's from the state of Alabama, played linebacker at Kentucky, led Troy, did well with Troy, did well with Tulane. I think that's the perfect, candidate for them.
And he would be walking into a decent situation, man, because it's not like
Mhm.
Auburn's roster is bad. If you go look at the games they've lost this year, most of them have been one score games, man. It's because Hugh Freeze, I know we're not trying to go down this road, but Hugh Freeze refused to make a change at quarterback, which I'll never understand. But because if he did, he would still have his job. But they have a talented roster. They signed a great recruiting class last year, and they have another recruiting class coming in this year that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
another thing that I wanted to mention, right? We talk about all these job openings, right? If they don't make these hires soon, they're going to
Mhm.
lose recruits, right? National Signing Day is December the 4th, if I'm not mistaken, right? They're on a time crunch, a serious time crunch. The recruits are going to start. We've already seen recruits decommitting from these schools that have fired their coaches. And, my recruitment is back open and they flipping to other schools, whoever was their second school, and, the chaos of recruiting. And so they're on a serious time crunch to make a hire before they end up with a rebuild, basically.
Yeah, pretty much stole what I was gonna say, AB, because that's what I was gonna talk about was the recruiting piece. Y they all of them are in a time crunch now, and one of the things that they need to start thinking about hiring that coach soon is because what's gonna happen is that, if they don't, you're gonna start losing guys to the transfer portal as well too. One of the biggest people for Auburn is Cam Coleman, one that probably, could possibly one of the top 10 wide receivers in college football. And you want to make sure that you can get whoever this new coach is on campus and start talking to him, to see if he's willing to stick around because they could lose a lot of those good recruits that's in that recruiting class right now.
And on that note, too, man, this was why people should just take Lane Kiffin out of their board, their wish list. He's in a position right now that he's going to be able to make a run deep in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to jump off of that, you know what I'm saying, to go somewhere else. He has a solid team. If anything, he's looking to cherry pick from these schools who don't have a head coach right now, you
Yeah.
know? So these people who are like, Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, man, he ain't going nowhere, man.
No.
And 1 month for him to jump ship and go get a job, nah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it, man. I looked at basically the remaining strength of schedule, right, for all the teams that were in like the top 12, right, from the
Mhm.
first college football playoff reveal. Ole Miss strength of schedule is 99th. They are remaining schedule is ranked 99th. I don't see them losing another game. Normally he would have dropped some games by now already that he shouldn't have. And yeah, they're going to end up in the playoffs. And will they make noise? Who knows? But they're definitely going to end up in the playoffs.
Now, just walk with me here for a minute. Could they do a thing where they hire Lane, but he finishes out through the playoff run? Could a school hire Lane, but you know what I'm saying, but have
Now,
him coach through the playoffs?
Yeah.
and what, not announce it? Some
No, no,
dirty
no. I'm
work
saying I'm
stuff?
saying announce it. I'm saying announce
Team,
it.
man, the team ain't going for that, bro. He
No.
going to lose the team. You do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lose a team,
You're gonna kill
and
the
then when
culture
that transfer
immediately.
was it that when's the transfer portal time
Yeah,
frame
it's like
now?
the beginning of January, if I remember correctly, and it's only
Yeah,
15 days now.
and it's only
Yeah.
one window.
Yep, only one window.
Yeah, man. I don't know about that. That would be like I mean, if anybody has the talent to finagle something like that, it would be Lane Kiffin. The way he's done his career in the past, man. But I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Okay.
I just feel like he hasn't made it Ole Miss, man. I don't know why he
Yeah.
would leave that.
I saw another thing, man, and going back to the Arkansas job, you're talking about coaches available. Dan Mullen name at UNLV, you know what I'm saying, is out there.
Yeah,
Bring him back to the SEC, even though he had a rough time at Florida.
Yeah, he
yeah,
would be
he
a
did.
great coach, man, in the SEC. I mean, he's got UNLV doing pretty well right now. Again, I
Yeah,
don't see him at
yeah,
like a Florida, LSU type, but like you said, a Arkansas or Auburn. I could see that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, there's another name I've seen floating around. San Diego State head coach Sean Lewis. They're sneaky good right now. Last two jobs, Oklahoma State and VTech.
Yeah. The James Franklin name is the one that keeps coming up for Vatek. I think that would be a perfect fit for him, pretty much off the radar. And I think he could go down there and turn Vatek. 'Cause that's a sleeping giant, man. He
It
could go
is.
down there and turn that place into something special.
Maybe even win ACC since Miami don't want to.
That's true. That's true. But one thing, like they said, man, you can't deny what James Franklin, he's a great recruiter, and he knows how to build a program. He's done it several times. And I think he can go down there and build Virginia Tech up, man, to be a solid competitor in the ACC.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Virginia Tech chips, all the chips in on Franklin. If I was them,
Yeah.
I would make that hard to deny. And like you said, they have a good fan base. Virginia Tech, man,
Yeah.
they have a great fan base. They love their football here, and both them and Virginia are in the ACC. But I think recruiting wise, he could take any player from the area here because Virginia is not really locking it down like that.
Right.
James Franklin at Tech would just dominate the recruiting trail in the area.
And just before you go, AB, one thing I did see too, not only that, you got Pennsylvania right here. You know what I mean? You got
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, you got Virginia, like they were saying, Maryland, DMV area. He would do very well there, man. I really
And
do
he
think he
already
would.
has established relationships with that region, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Those high schools. He already has
Yep.
previously existing relationships, which is good. So for the Oklahoma State job, man, I seen offensive coordinator from Texas A&M. They said he's pretty much a lock to get that job. Colin Klein.
Yeah. I've seen Atlanta's offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson, mentioned. I think he played there. I mean, like I said, again, I think Oklahoma State is a good job, man. I know at one time they had a booster, man, that was T Boone Pickens. I don't know if
Yeah,
he's still alive or not.
I think he passed away.
He did pass
Yeah.
away. Okay. But I see,
Yeah,
I know
that
he
guy
was
was
pumping a
old.
lot of money into the school at the time.
What's crazy is that Oklahoma State firing happened so long ago, and so many other firings has happened. I forgot all about him, man. But that is a good job.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have no name to associate that one with.
No.
But that would be a good place for somebody from the Power Fives to come up. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Colin Klein is a good one. I mean, man, he had like a meteoric rise. I mean, he was just playing quarterback not too long ago.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and that goes from that to being a head coach pretty fast. So that would be pretty interesting.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be.
Yeah, because I keep seeing a Memphis head coach name for one, to jump into the power conference head coaching positions.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say is, I mean, it's not over, man. I still see you still got Florida State out there as one because I do think I don't think that Norvell, he's got to go on a hell of a run, basically, to keep his job, if you ask me. And I don't think he does that. I think that's a job that's going to come open that a lot of people going to want to kind of get into. I think it may be a few more SEC jobs, possibly Kentucky's one. So it's just going to be, it's not over. And like, it kind of going back to what AB said earlier, a lot of these schools going to have to start thinking like, hey, we're going to have to start moving on these coaches, man, because
Yeah.
it's going to be, it's going to be gone soon. And that
Crunch
job may
time,
be
man.
gone. Yeah.
It definitely crunch time, man. Missing out on a recruiting class is detrimental to your program, right?
Yep.
So
Not just this year, but like next year too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, years
Yeah.
to
You
come.
missed-
Yeah, that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
a
snowball effect,
compound.
right? Because
Exactly.
everybody's in the portal. It's tough.
I think
That's
we're going
tough.
to see a bunch of coordinators come into some of these lower
Yeah.
jobs. I think so. And it's going to be good, man. New coaching blood into the,
Yeah.
it's a college
Yeah.
football.
I do think Glenn Schumann gets a job, just don't know where. And that's Georgia's defensive coordinator. I think he gets a job, man. He's been in the pipeline, for a while. I think there's a few other ones that, they are going to be able to make that jump this year.
Well, that does it for this episode of the Unbiased Room. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell a friend, tell us how we doing. Hit the comments and tell us who do you think are going to take some of these jobs next time.
Peace.